You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.
Welcome to Earth Station 1, a weekly podcast dedicated to all things science. It's time for the Dragon Con Report, a podcast dedicated to help newcomers and veterans prepare for the upcoming annual convention in downtown Atlanta. With interviews, advice, and news from the pros and fans alike. Be careful, you never know. You might actually learn something.
Howdy everyone, and welcome to the 9th and final episode of the 2023 Dragon Con Report. Dragon Con, in case you didn't know, you're hearing it here maybe first, Dragon Con is over. Yes, but a lot of us are still recovering. I'm your host, Mike Gordon. I'm pleased to introduce you to the rest of our station crew. They are worn and weary, starting with Jen, of course.
Hello.
Hello, Jen. I'm so sorry you are in the condition that you're in still from Dragon Con.
Well, I mean, at least the COVID part's gone.
Yes.
Just,
I'm very pleased about that.
It left me weak to catch other things.
And speaking of folks and co-hosts that got COVID, Channing is also here with us. Yes. Channing, I didn't get to see you this weekend, that past weekend, and you know what? I'm now that I know that you got COVID, I'm not really bummed about it. So
yeah. No offense taken on that one. Oddly enough, judging by the time frame, I probably caught it on the drive back from Dragon Con.
Yeah, mine was towards the latter days. Judging by the time frame, it might have even been the day after con.
Right.
So I did see Jen. I think was that Friday?
I saw you twice.
Right.
Yeah, right. Friday, and then I came to your panel.
Yes, absolutely. So, I guess we can, we're going to start with some news and notes in a minute, but I got to get some business out of the way. Starting, of course, with letting everybody know that Director Faber is working his magic behind the scenes, as you've already seen some comments and everything. So, hello, Director appreciate Faber. You. And we are a proud member of the ESO Network. We have a TeePublic store filled with all kinds of cool stuff, including very cool design for the Dragon Con Report podcast. There's a link for that in this episode's show notes and at the top of the ESO Network page. The ESO Network also has a patron page. Thank you guys. Thank you, patrons, for your support. We really, really, really do appreciate you. To all our viewers on Facebook or on YouTube that are watching us right now, howdy! And this is the video version of the show. Of course, the streaming video. The audio version of our show is still available via all the usual places. And that is Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon Music, etc., etc. In addition, you can always access past episodes. This is our last episode of the year. So if you are really craving Dragon Con content or to see or hear us, then you can always access past episodes at DragonConReport.com. And however you access our show, please like and share, like and subscribe. We really, really, really do appreciate it. We're not in the Dragon Con app, so you can't give us 5 stars there, but you can certainly give us reviews and 5 stars in however you're accessing us. So we really do appreciate that. And if you would like to leave direct feedback or comment on the show, contact us directly. Email us at feedback@dragonconreport.com. You can also reach out to us. We're on all the social medias, but there's so many now to choose from. And so we're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for sure. Actually, scratch that. We're not going to be on X anymore, if that's what that's called. So Facebook and Instagram, and some of us can be found other places as well. So we're working on.
We're not going to pay that fee for X.
No. we save all our money for Dragon Con, Channing.
Right.
And certainly last but not least, the Dragon Con Report. This podcast, this show is an unofficial podcast of the con. We are not and never have been officially connected with Dragon Con. For all the official news, we strongly recommend checking out the official site and the various social media outlets that they have as well. So, all right, so we're going to get started with some overall news. First off, like I said, Dragon Con 2023 is over. And well, you'll have to tune in. So keep posted. And I don't know if you can get the drinks ready or not. We might be doing the drinking game. No, just kidding. No guests, but we will be talking about maybe potential guest or celebrity encounters that we had at 2023. So hope that'll give you that.
Scratch that itch.
That's the plan.
Yeah, scratch that itch. Thank you.
Scratch that
Thank
itch.
You.
Exactly.
Thank you. So the official news reports say the official release was that Dragon Con attracted 70,000 fans for 5 days of pop culture celebration. Now, that is an estimate, of course, and that's the official number. We don't know exactly what that entailed, if that includes paid people, if that includes volunteers, if that includes one-day memberships, whatever, we don't know. But there were, according to official notes, there were 70,000 people there.
And Rachel did say at the closing ceremony that they aim to keep it around that same number going forward.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
At least for
which I think is good. Most people I talk to. Oh, go ahead.
They were initially estimating that at 65, but it reached out 70. Sold out all 5 days, they said. So I do know that one-day passes were unavailable after a while. So they did put a cap on that. I don't know if they ever put a cap on the 5-day, though. So I think that those were still available.
Yeah.
So they raised more than $200,000 for Cure Childhood Cancer, which was the official charity of the convention. So that's always awesome. That surpasses the 2,000. That surpasses the final total that they raised last year for Open Hand Atlanta. So awesome to hear that they're doing some good that way. And Dragon Con will return. Good news, everybody. Dragon Con will return next year, 2024. August 29th through September 2nd are the dates, and memberships are already available online. 5-day memberships, no 1 days yet, but 5-day memberships are already online. As of today, they are $115. They were $100 leading up to yesterday, at the end of business yesterday, I believe. But now they are $115. That is still, in my opinion, a bargain, especially when you realize that probably around August next year, they will be about $175. If
correct.
Not more, right? So they will go up incrementally over the next few months. So, nice. Yeah. Very cool, Sarah. We got the news from Sarah that the theater track is on the short list for potential tracks. Great. Thanks for that update. We really do appreciate that.
And congratulations to them. They partnered with some other tracks, and they had some really good programming this year.
Yes,
I only got
some good photo shoots.
Yes. Oh, yeah, the photo shoot was great. So, yeah, congratulations on all your hard work over there, Sarah. Absolutely.
Again, memberships are non-refundable and non-transferable. So even if you buy them today, heck, you're only out $115. I mean, I don't hate to put it that way, but $115, like I said, I think that's a bargain.
No, divide it by 5 days.
Exactly.
Right.
Well,
exactly.
And hey, let's be honest, not just 5 days, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
6 for me. Yeah. 6 for me.
Right.
Wednesday this year was jumping. I mean, I wasn't there on Wednesday, but the pictures I saw and everything.
I partied harder on Wednesday than any other night of con. And I realized I did that last year too. So I think that's just my goal going forward. Is just I go nutso Wednesday night, and then the rest of the con I'm 2 to 3 drinks max. I go to bed at a normal time. I get all the work done I need to and do my responsibilities because I work at con.
Yes.
And organize a bunch of stuff. So, but yeah,
you have to be a little responsible.
Yeah, everyone who was there on Wednesday night, there was just mini parties everywhere, and getting to hang out with the con DJ group Cult was a lot of fun. Getting to meet all them in person was super fun. And we had a lot of Dragon Con Report viewers come up
Yep.
to the party as well. So
We
that was
had-
very cool.
Throughout
Yeah.
the entire weekend,
Yeah.
I had Dragon Con Report listeners and viewers come up to me more so, I think, than any other year.
Same.
And
Same.
I
kept
have
getting,
to-
you're the girl. Like, what girl? What girl?
the girl. I didn't get that, so that's awesome. No, I cannot, and it warmed my heart every time. I got to say, like, the fact that people are watching us. I mean, I know the numbers. I see people are watching us right now, interacting with us and everything. But it's just so awesome to meet them in person, meet our viewers and listeners. And some of them had some really good ideas for things we can do moving forward. So we always appreciate that. Yes, please, if you're ever at a convention or an event that we're at, come up to us. Don't be shy. Some people were actually said they were nervous to meet me or to they're like, oh, I've seen you a couple years, but this year I decided I won't bite. So
we are all con attendees.
Absolutely.
First and foremost. And we do the show because we love the con.
Yes.
And we want to see it be a better show for everybody else. And
absolutely
want to prepare all the viewers and let you know what to expect. And so we are.
And I really love hearing everybody's story about how they discovered Dragon Con or what Dragon Con means to them. I always really appreciate that because it's a lot of people find it in different ways. It's a different experience. It's like we all come to the same place, but everybody has a different experience at con.
It's a choose your own adventure con.
It really is. Absolutely.
That's what makes it great.
Yep.
And for me, it was just weird because I finished a panel that I was on, and there was a line for everybody wanting to ask questions to the panelists. And one woman comes up to me and said, "You're Channing. I know you from the Dragon Con Report." I'm like, oh, wow. And I wanted to ask her if I caused her any liver damage, but I figured, we'd end it on a good note. But yeah, that one was weird. Yeah.
You better be careful with those people with those cease and desist, Channing.
Well, and I had so many people come up and say, that they downloaded the party list from the party group, and it really helped them find a bunch of things that they either didn't know about because they're unofficial group meetups or something, so they're not on the app, or it just helped them narrow down what they were trying to find in the app. And a lot of people who used it were first-time attendees this year. So hearing that it helped them I'm going blank.
I'm sure it helped them plan as much as you can plan.
Customize. It helped them customize their con experience.
There you go.
There we go. That was the word I was thinking.
No, the work you do in that group is awesome, and it's above and beyond what you're doing here. So, really appreciate that. And you guys all. I mean, we all were busy. It's so weird that we don't get to see each other. Channing, I don't even know if I've ever met you in person.
I don't think
so.
I don't think I've met you in person either.
So we'll have to definitely make that a very we'll have to make a concentrated effort next year.
Well, next year we should do the host photo.
Yes. Oh, I like that.
I like that. Up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have met Mike. I don't know if he's bragging about that or if he's just, unfortunately I can't tell.
I kept looking for Channing outside at the Hilton at the big group photo shoots, but never found him. So
yeah, this year was different, and I'm sure we'll discuss it when we go over our individual ones, but I was busier than usual even for me this year. So yeah, I didn't see too many people. I'll have to tweak that some next year.
Yeah. Well, we'll, I mean, it's like I said, we run the risk, 70,000 people, and you guys were not the only two people that I knew and talked to that had that got COVID, unfortunately. So,
out of my group of 7, 4 got it.
Wow.
And then if I count, let's go to the party group moderators, another one in that group. Well, he got it his second day there. Ooh. So
I was on 3 panels on Monday, and out of 2 of the panels, the last 2 panels that I did, 2 of those people that were on those panels ended up getting testing positive for COVID afterwards. So
And
I really feel like I dodged a bullet.
Yeah, I wasn't even like, I was not living recklessly or anything, I was not sharing drinks with a bunch of people or, drinking from strangers.
Jen does not share her drink.
No, I did share pie. I did share pie, but we had the little mini shot glasses, that you could pass out shot glasses, so nobody was drinking from the bottle.
Didn't try the spray?
No,
pie spray? No.
Dave had the spray at the Thursday con crawl.
Okay.
So yeah, I had plenty of sprays. I just didn't do the spray myself, and plenty of people I took shots from. They gave you sealed shots.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Gotcha.
Like pudding shots and stuff like that. So,
gotcha.
But again, I try to only, when I'm drinking homemade, I try to only accept that from somebody I know.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I have some food allergies, so I have to be like, I can't accidentally have pineapple or something. And
oh yeah.
So, and I wasn't in a lot of really crowded situations except in the skywalks.
Skywalks were pretty busy most of the time. I have to, before we move on to some other news, I have to ask you though, like I said, 70,000 people, like I said, there were so many people there, even on Tuesday, but on Wednesday, I have to think with so many people not being there on Monday, I wonder if a lot of people come and like, if Wednesday is the replacement for Monday, if they're just leaving on Monday morning.
It very could be, because I know a ton of people who leave on Monday, and I even saw quite a few people leaving Sunday evening.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm wondering if they start Wednesday and their con ends like Sunday night or Monday morning.
Well, it could be not everybody can get Labor Day off from work,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
not everybody maybe wants to. The people leaving Sunday, can't blame them for not wanting to fly or travel on a holiday.
Yeah,
that's
Monday's
why we
always been my travel day.
Yeah, that's why we always stay to the following Wednesday, because we don't want to travel on Labor Day. We don't want to deal with the leftovers that are traveling on Tuesday. And then when Wednesday hits at the end of the week, well, then it's back to normal travel. And of course, I'm worn out from con and I have to get to the Atlanta airport by 7:00 in the morning.
And that's a whole nother adventure.
Yeah, which means I got to get to MARTA by 6:10.
All right. So some more little news items. Even though the con is over, you can still experience Dragon Con because the streaming membership is available and a lot of programming, main event programming, other programming has been uploaded to DCTV, so you can subscribe to that. We'll have a link for that in our show notes as well, but you can go to Dragon Con TV or Dragon Con's Facebook page, whatever, and see and get the link. It's only $10 for a year of access, and that's not just access to 2023 content. That's access to their entire library. I mean, I know that a lot's been made of streaming services or whatever, and they're going up, and some of the libraries are changing or whatever. This is, as far as I know, DCTV hasn't changed any of their access, and it's only $10, not a month, but for a year. So, I mean, anytime you get that urge or that itch, so to speak, that you want to scratch for Dragon Con, you can pull up Dragon Con TV at any time for just $10.
Well, plus they've just now started adding the content from this year, because everyone needs a break after con. Especially the editors and people who work at DCTV. So there's going to be a lot of new content hitting the app over the next few months.
And we talk about how at Dragon Con you can't do everything. It's a good way to catch up on some things that you may have missed.
I'm not standing in line for a panel for 3 hours, so I watch the panels on the app later.
And the parade. It's the best, almost one of the best ways to watch the parade. So the parade is always available too. The masquerade, the main big, huge costume masquerade contest that they have.
Which I got to run on stage during this year, which is crazy.
Awesome. All right. And certainly what everybody wants to know about as far as going into next year is hotel information. Now,
Ooh, boy.
we don't claim to be hotel experts, but the hotels, let's see, there are 2 legacy hotels. Well, 3 actually, maybe 2.5 with what happened with the Cortland Grand, but we'll get to that in a minute. But the Hyatt and the Hilton are legacy hotels for sure, and they're pretty much locked up. I don't, you can try, but what's this?
Okay, let's put it this way. They do open up a few new legacy rooms each year.
Mhm.
Yes.
When they do, it will be announced on DragonCon's social media,
Yes.
and those rooms will go super quick.
Absolutely.
So, because everyone wants a legacy.
Everyone wants a legacy. So yes, the 2 hotels that are not legacy, Marriott being one of them, they go up on Wednesday, October 4th at 10 a.m.
Yep.
And
but good rule of thumb is to start hitting refresh on when you're signed in.
Yes.
10 to 5 minutes before, because they are known to open it up early. Don't
Absolutely.
wait till right at 10.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. And call early too. And if you get through, then if you talk to someone really nice and sweet talk them, you can get on hold and so when they can become available, bam, you've got them.
And
same
please be
applies
nice.
to the Westin. October 24th. That is was when those rooms become available, and that's at 10 a.m. as well.
Basically, you should try the website and the phone at the same time.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And even multiple computers if you can do that.
Right.
And it is tricky, but it is possible. I have managed to get a room at the Westin for the last few years this way. It is difficult, and you have to be patient. Although,
and just to keep in mind, and when you sign in or call, if they tell you it's sold out right then, wait 5 minutes, wait 10 minutes. They release rooms in waves.
Absolutely.
To not overload the booking center.
And sometimes people's purchases don't go through right away, and they re-release them. So again, Marriott is Wednesday, October 4th, and the Westin is, I'm not sure what day of the week. I think that's a Wednesday as well. Is it?
Yeah, I can't remember.
October 20th. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Westin is October 24th, and the Marriott is October 4th. So Marriott's coming up first. If you can't get a now, they will go fast, like within a half an hour.
That's why I say the waves, because I did Westin for 8 years, and me and other people were able to get Westin rooms 4 hours after it opened.
Whew.
Because it goes in waves.
Sure.
Now, it's not a lot of rooms that get released in those later waves, but as Mike said, some people's charges don't go through for their deposits, and they also just don't release everything at once. So don't get frustrated in the first hour. It doesn't mean you can't keep trying.
Yeah, absolutely. And I definitely recommend on Facebook checking out with the DragonCon Rooms group, because they will let you know if you're experiencing something odd. They'll let you know if you're alone or not alone, if something else is happening. And
there are multiple rooms groups to be a member of and follow along with people's updates.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. There are several social media channels you can follow.
Absolutely. So that's the deal on 4 out of the 5 of the host hotels. Before we get into the Cortland Grand, I want to mention that the non-host hotel, the Ritz, put up their DragonCon rooms this week, and yesterday. That's right.
Yesterday, yeah.
Wow, it's already Tuesday. And that was kind of bumpy, from what I understand from people. I do know some people who got rooms, but I also know some people who did not get rooms. And
I know people who stayed there every year and had no idea that it was opening yesterday. So
well,
and I think they were another one. They opened like an hour before they were scheduled to open.
They opened up an hour earlier. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was a mess. So unfortunately,
apparently it was just something going on with the hotels this year.
Yeah. Well, speaking of messes, Jen, I'm going to let you handle this one, since you are a formerly known as Sheraton legacy
I'm a
holder.
corgi. I'm a corgi now.
Now you're a Cortland Grand corgi. Is that what they're called?
Corgi, like the dog.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right.
Yes, the Grand Corgi.
Yeah, okay.
The Grand Corgi.
That works.
That's the unique name for people.
So let us know about your experience with that.
Okay, so most people who stay at the Grand Cortland, which used to be the Sheraton, we've been staying there for years, either because we don't mind paying the full price up front. It's a little bit quieter, easier. People say it's far away. From staying at the Westin, to me, it's so much closer because I can just pop right down to the food court, or I can pop right down to the Hilton. But the way it's been handled in the past is that when you stayed there, either on Monday or Tuesday after con, you would receive an email with a private booking link so that you could rebook your room for the following year. And then you paid for the whole thing up front. Well, Sheraton got bought out and taken over by the Wyndham Group. That's why it now has a new name. And although there were some staff that were there that previously worked at the Sheraton, it was none of the counter staff, the check-in staff. And basically no one knew what was happening. No one could tell us, were we going to receive an email? Definitely. Were they going to continue to let people who stayed there before? And then the messaging started changing every day, because when you have a room or at a hotel that you want to stay at every year, you want to know what the policy is so that you are prepared.
Mm-hmm.
And
especially when you know there's been a change in ownership.
Yeah, and many people were asking at the front desk every single day. And so first, people got told that, yes, we would be receiving an email. We would receive it Monday morning. And yes, they would stick with the same legacy program. Then it was somebody at the front desk told the other staff members that we would receive a mail from DragonCon themselves, which, how does DragonCon know who's staying at the hotel? That seems like a breach of privacy for a hotel to turn over their list of guests to an outside company for them to be able to book. Now, to be fair, I do know other conventions that send out booking emails, like PAX. PAX gets a partnership with the hotels that have their discount, and you're given a particular link through PAX direct emails to book those hotels. But you're still being sent to a passkey type site. But DragonCon doesn't do that. DragonCon has never done that. I don't know any other con besides PAX that does that. So, yeah, there was that. Then Monday comes. We don't get an email. Well, then it's told, oh, no one's in the office because it's Labor Day. You'll get the email tomorrow, Tuesday. Okay, fine. Then as we're all checking out, those of us who stayed till Tuesday, as we're checking out, there's people at the front desk saying, we've been told you'll be sent an email, but just in case not, take this number down. And they're having people copy a Post-it note with a phone number that for you to call. I hate calling people to book, so I was like, I don't need your number, because I'll have heard 5 different stories, so I'm not going to believe this one either. But I'm still in it, after we check out, I'm still in Atlanta for another night, and I spend a lot of time online in Facebook and in the Discords. And I just happened to be online 2 hours later when all of a sudden everyone is freaking out because the hotel has just randomly posted their booking link online publicly without telling anybody. And somebody sees it in the Discord. So then it gets posted in the Discord. Then it gets posted in the various rooms groups, and everybody starts scrambling. Yeah. So I'm immediately booking, and I'm messaging everyone I know who stays at the Sheraton. You need to book. And so yeah, I got my room. And I was able to, Brandon, who's in the comments and in the party group with me, I was able to help him navigate an issue he was having, so he could get his rooms. My friend in New Braunfels, who I know stays there every year, I messaged her. And so like everyone I knew was like, I know you're not online right now. Here's the link. And you're going to see that it's sold out, but change this. And then you'll, get the rooms. But yeah, it was gone in like 45 minutes. And you could keep changing a few settings. And you'd randomly have like a king pop up, or the presidential suite, which, the presidential suite's like $2,600. Yeah. Which, hey, you get a suite, you could split that up, but still, yeah, it's and they are not responding. The hotel's just not responding to anyone who's like, hello, you said this.
Right.
And they're passing the buck. They are still telling people who have messaged that DragonCon is going to send them an email with the booking link. Mm-hmm. Even though when people are like, no, the booking link already went live, you're already sold out.
Yeah, now, they seem to have been the hotel with the most issues this year.
Yeah, they had some of their staff not happy that con attendees were there, and very much did not want anyone to walk into the main lobby area of the hotel, like back towards the pool, even though that's how you get to the North Tower to get to your rooms. Like, there are rooms everywhere. They were arguing with people who said that they were staying at the hotel if they were in costume. Because they were like, no, the party's this way. And it's like, I'm going to my room, but the party's this way. But my room is that way. Here is my key. You know, or they have a pool. They have parties at the pool.
They do.
At con. And you're stopping people from going that way. It was just, yeah, I got my room. But hopefully, even though they're ignoring everyone who is, you know, telling them what the experience was like this year, hopefully they learned from it and, you know, go back to it. I don't need them to go to proper Legacy. Like, yes, Legacy is cool. It's great to know you have a room every year, but I think you can't have every host hotel be Legacy, because then new people don't get to experience a host hotel.
Correct.
But, you know, having the loyalty program where we get first crack at it, but you still have other rooms in the block, like, go back to that. Mm-hmm. You know, they're not even charging the whole thing up front anymore, which, you know what that means? People who got that link booked that room and don't care about staying there. They're using it as a backup. So, hey, folks, when the Westin and the Marriott go up and sell out, a bunch of Cortland rooms are going to be open again because people are going to book the hotel they actually want. Which is probably going to be, there's probably going to be a good amount of rooms that opened up because they didn't even charge a deposit at all.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah. No deposit. Not even a one night. They said we don't have to pay till check-in. Well, no, the email says we don't pay till check-in, but then some people who called on the phone, they told them one night would be taken out in a few months. So we don't know.
That is just ridiculous. Hopefully they'll do kind of like a Hilton pivot. I remember maybe about 4 years ago, Hilton was just a hotel where everybody had a bad experience. They didn't really seem to be welcoming to people, and it started getting back around, and they did a complete 180. That's when they started doing their different themes at the hotel for DragonCon. So hopefully somebody at the Corgi will make some adjustments.
Yeah, I would imagine that. Look, if you've got a deal with DragonCon and you're going to be a quote unquote host hotel, you like DragonCon needs to sit you down and go, this is what we expect from you guys. And someone in the comments said that the staff actively called people a freak show. So it's like that's not host hotel behavior. No. Nobody wants that.
But also, how did the new owners not know? Right. About DragonCon?
Well, I mean, look, if
somebody there had to be an Atlanta native.
I mean, as we've talked about before, DragonCon is so unique. I wouldn't expect anybody who didn't know to understand, you know, like what it is. And that's why, you know, I don't know what happened behind the scenes. I don't know if DragonCon did reach out. I don't know what it's like with the people behind the scenes at Cortland Grand or whatever. But
all we know is this is not DragonCon's fault. That's what
we do know.
We know that much. Yeah.
Right. And yes. And hopefully DragonCon can put some pressure on them to fix some of the mistakes. You know, like if you did have a legacy at the Sheraton, I think you should really still fight to get that honored.
Well, they're not responding.
I don't know
they're not responding. So, you know, even those who still got a room have written in to complain about the process.
Yeah,
they're not responding.
Oh, geez.
Well, I mean, Yeah,
we're getting generic. Thank you for contacting the Cortland Grand Hotel.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I would hope that somebody would make sure that they do respond and that it is taken care of, because nobody wants to treat their attendees this way. Nobody,
Yeah.
And
the second thing is, I don't want to go to another hotel. I like this hotel. Yes, it's old. Yes, some of the rooms are dingy. Yes, there's plumbing problems in some places. Yes, it's absolutely freezing throughout the whole lobby area, no matter the time of day. I don't care. It's only like 16 floors. I don't have to fight for an elevator. I have food trucks. I have my Greek food truck.
Man, I rarely make it over to the Sheridan. I rarely make it over there. And this year was the first time I think I'd been to the Sheridan for Dragon Con in a long time. And the only reason I did that was because when I picked up my guest badge at the Marriott, they were out of programs. So they said, if you want a program, you have to go to the Sheridan where registration is. They have a bunch of them there. So I did that, and I went over there, and I was amazed. All of the food trucks and everything that the vendors that are out there, it's incredible, the setup that they have going on over there.
Right. And thankfully, I'll be honest, one good thing the new management did is they took the DJ away from the third floor balcony, which had always been outside and just absolutely blaring from 8:30 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. Now, those guys, they were nice guys. I chatted with them every day when I would be out there. But it was just so loud, and you heard it in the hotel. And at 8 o'clock in the morning when I'm, doing my morning con walk, I don't want it that loud.
That's pretty loud for that early in the morning. Sure.
It was loud. We go to this little bar across the street called Crazy Atlanta, and we could hear it perfectly those years when they had them out there, like lyrics and everything. They didn't need their own DJ in Crazy Atlanta because you could just use the Sheridan's DJ.
I guess while we're on the subject of hotels and mishaps or whatever, one thing that I did hate to see that came out of this year's Dragon Con was that particularly at the Hilton, rooms were being broken into. A burgle, yeah, that's a good word.
With people in them.
Yeah, with people in them.
Sometimes with people in them, and apparently somebody had gotten a hold of a master key or was able to duplicate it on their phone or some such thing, and took advantage of it, full advantage of it, and went crazy in the Hilton. And obviously, that's something that could happen at any hotel with the way that room keys work, and a lot of them have the and a lot of them do have the option to use your phone instead of a key card. Although why you would not want a Dragon Con key card, especially this year, since all 5 hotels had designs on the key card that connected.
And they were
and everything.
Nice.
They were nice, absolutely. Also that just outside in parking areas, various parking areas, I heard that a lot of cars were broken into as well.
Seems to have been the cluster right by that one by the Marriott, though.
Absolutely. So
Marriott.
So I mean, I know this is not a new thing. Lord knows, I reported before, 10 years ago, I got my car broken into and everything was taken. And I know other people who have gotten their cars broken into as well. Some stolen, outright stolen. I mean, that's what happens when you do business, in a big city with 70,000 other people and 70,000 potential targets, right?
It's a gathering of that size is a known target.
Yeah.
And it may not have even been Dragon Con people. That's the other thing.
I'm sure it wasn't. Actually.
Yeah, I don't think anybody thought it was con people.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, you never know. I mean, look, geeks can figure stuff out with technology. So
but I think it's just kind of known that downtowns in most big cities have thefts.
It's gonna be tough.
So, if some of those droids were being used to ransack rooms or whatever, if all of a sudden you find R2-D2 in your room, going through your drawers.
I think an important thing, thing to think about next year when you're getting ready for con, folks, is, look at getting some of those travel locks for your hotel doors.
Yes.
It doesn't protect your stuff when you're not in your room, but if people are being brazen enough to go into a room when people are in there sleeping at 3:00 in the morning, because, if you have roommates, they could be coming in at a different time. So you can't put that safety latch down.
Right.
But, maybe you just need to make it to where, hey, if your roommate's coming back later, say, no, I'm putting the safety latch down and I'm using this travel lock. I'll just leave my phone on and you need to call me or something. Because,
Yeah, I certainly don't suggest to anybody use my method, which is my roommate snores like a mother. So, nobody's going to come in there because they're going to think I have a pack of wild dogs. So, with his snoring, it's just not conducive to anybody wanting to be anywhere near that. So that's my deterrent there. But of course, it doesn't protect the room when there's nobody there. But
yeah, and Sarah and I were thinking the same thing. There are tiny video cameras, and depending on what your room situation is, just leave a little camera in. At least you might be able to identify the person. Again, that's depending on your room situation, and make sure whoever you're staying with knows that there's a camera in there. But I've seen one. It is shaped just like a USB charger that you plug into a wall, and you never know that it's got a little flash card in there and it's recording. So no, a good thing for when you're not in the room.
Absolutely. So, that's something that we can maybe, discuss next year or something, maybe more security measures for people to protect their belongings and themselves.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea. It's been a while since I think we've covered that kind of thing. And, I'm not saying that this is, with the amount of people that they have, et cetera, obviously this wasn't the norm, but it happened enough that,
and it's the second year. It's the second year it's happened.
Second year for the Hilton, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, any other reports of anything else, either positive or negative, from any of the hotels or anything like that this year that you guys heard?
Nothing out of the ordinary. We did not have Cheergate this year.
No.
There was flooding.
Really?
More flooding.
There was more leaks. Marriott had a leak on the from the ceiling on the level where Brian's photo booth is, where the Marriott merch store is. So something, I don't know if it was a pipe or an AC leak or something. It wasn't huge, but it was coming down from the roof. I saw a video of it. It seems like there was a lot of broken faucets throughout all the hotels. Westin turned off their ice machines on quite a few floors. I know you're not on yours, Mike, but I've seen at least 20 different people post on the various floors that they were specifically told they weren't going to be turned on.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know what was going on there, but
yeah. And
I guess they knew better than this. Turn it off my floor.
Yeah, who knows?
Right. VIP, man, VIP.
Yeah, I'm going to podcast about it. Give me cold ice, or I'm going to podcast about it.
Okay.
I don't know.
I see Brandon posting that the Wednesday party got shut down by the Marriott. That's not exactly accurate. We did not get shut down. They just kept yelling at Drew.
Yeah, I did see something about that. There was some. It doesn't look like the. It doesn't look like the Hilton was that much in favor. Was it the
Marriott.
Hilton that was that much
Marriott.
in favor?
Marriott.
Marriott. Sorry, of room parties.
No, it's not the room parties. This was the Wednesday night party in the lobby.
Oh, gotcha.
They didn't like Drew competing with the DJ they hired because Drew was getting more attention.
Gotcha.
Because. He would start DJing in our little area, and they kept coming to him saying it's too loud or you can't be right there. So then he switched to karaoke and became like the center of attention. So everyone just gathered around him because we're singing karaoke. I actually lost my voice that night. I could barely talk for the rest of the con because I screamed so loud, singing along to the songs. But so they kept trying to, but then when everybody's saying along, it's like, okay, you're going to tell us all to shut up. But we weren't even being that loud. His music was not that loud. He was not louder than the the pulse slot DJ.
Mm.
And yeah, he just said, I don't know if he's being sarcastic or not. They politely asked us to stop the music after 1. So I don't. So yeah, it kept going.
When they politely asked, were tasers involved?
And this was Wednesday?
This was Wednesday.
Yeah.
And the pre-party started at 8. So it's basically as soon as Drew showed up, they were just targeting, hey, it's too loud and all that. But he kept he was turning the music down. It's not his fault that we all kept singing louder and louder. So
you liked him better.
Well, he was playing stuff we knew.
Okay. I will say that I did ask, some people asked about the Westin and my stay there as far as the elevators, and I thought the elevator situation was great. I never had to wait more than, I don't think, 5 minutes for an elevator. There was one that was really shaky, which did make me nervous, especially since I was on the 50-something floor. So that seemed to shake a little bit. But one thing I like about the Westin is that a lot of the celebrity guests stay there too. And so when the doors open and I'm getting an elevator, I never know if I'm going to have an encounter. And a lot of times I've had some, including this year. And that's kind of cool. Like, you never know. So you always have that potential. I also know over the Marriott, one of the escalators broke, and they were really they were making sure that
somebody's we saw it. A piece of somebody's costume got eaten.
Ouch.
Yeah.
And I noticed that for the rest of the week, and they seemed to be monitoring how many people were on that escalator at all times, and you had to they spaced it out so that you were 4 or 5 steps between people because they didn't want to overload it again. So but yeah, I mean, it is this convention.
Hilton elevators were kind of a cluster. They did try to have someone kind of being a traffic cop for the elevators, but they weren't there all the time.
Sure.
And the Hilton doesn't bank their elevators like a couple of the other hotels do. So if you were there, at one point in time, my wife, she was down in the lobby. I think she had about a 30-minute wait for one. And usually by the time it got to the lobby level, you had so many people who were doing the go down to go up trick. It was still packed when it would get there.
I always do the down. I always press both buttons. If a door opens in front of me, I don't care where it's going, I get on it.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm not knocking them. I'm just saying. Yeah.
I always love those those people who are that are just they're either new or they don't understand or whatever because they just stay there, and I'm like, nope, I'm getting on this one, and they're like, oh yeah, it's like,
if you have to be smart,
that's why I don't seem to have to wait.
Yeah.
So Drew saying that the elevators didn't seem as bad at the Marriott as in previous years. So although he might have been scarred from how busy it was in 2018, 2019 pre-pandemic, which, I mean, those were insane numbers. We're talking 20,000 more people, 10 to 20,000 more people.
No, 2019 was scary.
Yeah.
Scary in certain locations.
Yes. So yeah, for specific hotel information about when they go on sale and all the details regarding when payments due and how they work and all that kind of stuff, like I said, I definitely recommend checking out some of the resources on Facebook, the Facebook groups as well.
And Discord.
And Discord as well.
Yeah, because the official Discord for DragonCon, there are channels for each hotel, and longtime attendees, we're going to have sometimes quicker information than official sources.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's always changing. It's something that's always changing. So, I mean, what worked, what was the case last year, it will not be the case necessarily for this year. And heck, what they say today might be different by the time that rooms become available, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a constant, they call it the Hotel Hunger Games for a reason. It's crazy. It's one of the most stressful things I think there is about going to DragonCon. I wish there was an easier way, but when you've got this many people who want so badly to participate and get a host hotel room, I don't know if there's any smooth way to do it.
No, because there's more attendees than there are rooms in just the 5 host hotels, which
Absolutely.
is why there's overflow hotels that are nearby that also have a con rate.
Yes. And yeah, I mean, don't despair if you don't get a host hotel. There are other options. So, and so that said, that's I think all we have for really news that are related. We don't know if there's going to be a sort of wrap up town hall meeting officially. I probably wouldn't count on it, but you never know. So the con might do something. As we were talking before the show, that Jen pointed out, sometimes they do like some holiday. They want to also sell some. They open up some more merchandise to sell for the holidays, so they might do a town hall meeting then, and all of that. And yeah, before we wrap up this segment completely, I did want to talk about the merch that was available at the official store this year. And I know that Jen, you got quite the catalog of goodies to show us.
Well, so, I do every year.
Jen's got to hook up.
I don't have it with me. No, I don't. I stand in the line for an hour. Because since I'm getting a media badge while everyone else is going to get their badge Thursday morning, I go straight to the store, the store line at the Corgi, which is, you're still waiting for about an hour. But I found it really cool. They had variant t-shirts this year. So if you were at the Cortland, they had the black version of the Spider-Man style Amazing Dragon Con shirt. And then the Marriott had the red version. I got the black, prefer the black. But got this year's dragon right here. Very cute. Very cute.
What was the winning name? Do we know?
Let me see if they put it on the tag here. Oh, wrong tag.
I can't remember what they actually ended up
2023. I don't remember the name. No, they did not put. They probably had these made before they named it.
Yeah, they probably so.
Which would make sense because they posted a picture of it and said "Name the Dragon." I believe it was for a longtime staff member that had passed away.
I think you might be right.
But I can't remember the name. They had these cool little bags this year. With some Dragon Con specific artwork on them. They also had a matching picture frame and wood magnet. I got those 2 things as well. They had sticker packs, nice. A new hoodie, a bunch of new pens. They had Croc charms this year. I did not get Croc charms. I have Crocs. I just don't wear them out of the house, so I don't have a need to get Croc charms. And then, they've started having vendors in the vendor hall do some Dragon Con exclusives each year. So this year, the exclusive I got was a little car scent diffuser. And the really cool thing about this is it came with, I think, 6 pads that you can load it with, and you use your own scent. So you can use your own essential oils and things like that. Yeah. Which is great for me because I don't like floral smells. Some of them I'm just allergic to. So I've not put it in the car yet because I haven't left the house in 2 weeks.
That was from Midnight Fury Designs.
Yes, and they all the collab vendors that had official con merch have been given permission by Dragon Con to sell any leftover remaining stock they have on their websites. Yes. So I know Midnight Fury is one of the people that still has some of those left. Mm-hmm. The person who made the wooden cutout home Dragon Con sign they have I think they're doing a pre-order for a last batch that they're going to do. So you can look up on Dragon Con's social media when they were promoting the various artists that had Dragon Con specific merch and find them that way to see if people still have leftover things. But another thing about the vendor hall, yes, the line was still crazy. I don't think it was as bad as last year, but oh my God, they added a fast pass this year. If you were going to panels, or I don't know if they did it for workshops, but they did it for if you were going to panels with the comic and artist alley track. It made such a difference. Now, granted, I have a disability pass, so I wouldn't have waited in line either. But I usually don't know till I get to con if I'm gonna get my disability sticker, because it will depend on how the line is for that area, and whether I can stand long enough to wait to get it. I didn't have that. I waited an extra day, so I didn't have that issue this time. Okay, Rock and Roll said they did it for workshops as well. So we had signed up to go see the Tiki panel. And even though I could have skipped the line anyway, I made sure to have the person scan the barcode so they knew, we had taken advantage of that, so they could see that people wanted to use it. It was awesome.
Yeah, that was a new thing that they implemented for. I'm glad they did it for workshops too, because I know that that it was available for panels in the comics and pop artist alley, and I was encouraging everybody who was going to go to the Tiki panel as well as some of my other panels to take advantage of that as well. You just went to the official site and signed up for a fast track pass access, and it provided you with a barcode and such, and then you could skip the line because you were going to go to the panel.
Did you notice more people in your panel as a result?
I did. Especially the Tiki panel. And in fact, I think when I asked how many people in that panel room in the audience had used the fast pass, I mean, there were a lot of hands went up, and and I do think that was one of the more popular ones. I do know that some people abused that fast pass. They used it to skip the line and not go to panels. So I do hope that there's some way to track that so that they can maybe look out for that in the future.
Then maybe do 2 QR codes, one you scan to get in and one you have to scan again at the door. If you don't
inside
in the panel room,
that would be cool. Although at that point it's already too late because the person's in. But
but they can see who's abusing it and not let them sign up for it again.
Yes, absolutely.
But then they might say that it was just packed and they couldn't get in or something.
Well,
but
I don't think they give enough fast pass.
I think
they
no
probably
matter
wouldn't
what,
oversell a panel.
I'd be curious to see how it turns out. This was the first year they did it, so obviously there's going to be some bumps or whatever. So, and I do know that there was an issue on Saturday. People were waiting 2.5 hours to get into the dealer hall. There was some information from the fire marshal that said that they couldn't either allow people in or it had to be very like they had to wait till certain people came out before they could let some people in, et cetera, et cetera. So it was very slow. Those people who waited 2.5 hours to get in the room, I am so sorry about that. I can't even imagine. I mean, that's you're watching a Scorsese film at that point and before you can get in, right? So that's crazy to me. On Monday, you could walk right in. And that was pretty much all day Monday. You could walk right in. So I
know the other hall for the gaming area, they never had lines like that.
I definitely, and the vendors felt it too on Saturday. A lot of people were complaining that their sales were down from the day before because of the sort of blockage of people not being able to come in and enjoy and shop and everything like that. So
I don't think the fire marshal was taking into account that there are multiple exits. There's only one entrance they let us go in, but there are multiple ways to get out of that building. Well,
there's some, I don't know. I don't want to speculate too much, but there were some rumors that the fire marshal's instructions were not adhered to properly. So I don't know what happened, to be honest with you. But regardless, I mean, 2.5 hours is a long time to wait, and you could be doing so many other things at Dragon Con. I hate to suggest that people don't do that, and Saturday is the busiest day. Saturday is the day that one day passes, or as the day of the parade where everybody comes down from out of town, like from downtown, and takes part in the show. So it's a crazy day.
But also keep in mind for the future, folks, use the Discord, get on some of the Facebook groups. There were many people updating other people saying, this is how bad the line is, this is how long the wait is. So you were able to kind of check before heading down there to see if it was horrible or if it was kind of easy or what.
So I mean, it's kind of crazy, and I think Yeah, I mean that's something I heard too. I mean, who knows?
Right.
I mean,
hey, DragonCon's where?
Exactly.
We're hopefully
Right.
we'll get it figured out.
So,
I'm not sure how much they can do when it's not their building and they're not the fire marshal, but
Cool.
adding the pass was a great step.
By the way,
it was. I hope they bring it back.
A couple folks, Brandon and Sarah, helped us out. The dragon's name is JP in honor of Jan Price, who was the parade director that passed away. So
very nice.
So JP the dragon. So if you want to write that down on the little tag that you got there, JP. It is cute. It is adorable. I don't know how it holds up with other past dragons, but I do.
I think, as far as I can tell, they've all been made by the same
company.
Yeah, especially when they switched to these bigger ones, because they used to have tiny dragons. I have 3 of the tiny dragons because I've been buying them every year since 2010 or 11.
Of course you have.
So
yeah,
I collect dragons. So of course I'm going to collect these.
They're awesome.
And they're super soft, and my dogs don't get to touch them. So
no, that would not end well, probably. All right, so that's all the news items we have. We're going to get into our own personal experiences at Dragon Con, and we want to hear from you guys too about some of yours and costumes that you liked, and panels and ribbons and all that kind of fun stuff. So we're going to, for those people who are listening, we're going to take a quick break. For those people who are watching, just hang on for just a second. We'll be right back. And we're back. That is, yeah, see, just we're back. And yes, for those people listening, thanks let us get rid of some business. And for those people watching, hello, you hardly missed us. We were away. But anyway, so let's get into it. I know that you guys both, unfortunately, got COVID, which is a horrible way to get con crud. I mean, I think the crud is bad enough, but Channing, let's start with you. What was your experience like? I mean, was it worth it?
Yeah, this year was different for me, but I still enjoyed it, obviously, before COVID. So this year I was on, if my count was right, I had 8 panels. I hosted 1 photo shoot. I participated in another photo shoot, and I marched in the parade.
Ooh,
and a lot of those things were like those panels were within an hour of each other. So that's why I say I didn't have a chance to see a lot of folks, because when I wasn't in a panel, I was on my way to another panel or doing some finishing touches for it. Each year I try to do Dragon Con a little different. So, this year was my panel year. Another year was my anime track year, because I don't know a lot about anime, so I jump in. And next year I'm strongly considering volunteering, but yeah, I try to mix it up. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I really enjoyed presenting on a lot of those panels. We did one on the animation track with on voice acting, and there are 3 people in our group, the Black Geeks of Dragon Con. They do voiceover work. Couple went to school for it. They've taken classes, and they got in and they gave some really good advice. That was the one. There was a line of people for at least 30 minutes after the panel was over that still wanted to ask them questions.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was a good one. The very special panel was also kind of a funny one. We just kind of looked at what happens when cartoons try to get serious and cover issues, and how some do it a little bit better than others. I think Captain Planet tackling the AIDS crisis was a very interesting one. And we also discovered that drugs in cartoons are always delivered in a clear plastic baggie. Like, that was a trend. Anytime, it was always not even a Ziploc bag, just like a bag like you would get to put your fruit and vegetables in. And it's just random pills. Always. That's cartoons.
It's not that way in real life?
Well, I mean, back in my drug dealing days, I made sure. Yes, it was a lot of fun. Like I said, different, but a lot of fun. The parade flew by. I marched with the diversity group, and we had our little subgroup where we were all dressed as Coming to America characters.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. We watched the replay. Somebody thought that we were from Wakanda, so that just gave us a little chuckle. But yeah, so good exercise, a lot of steps, not a lot of time to see friends, which is kind of a big deal at Dragon Con for me. So we'll again, I may have to adjust some next year, but
Mm.
I really do. I had fun this year. No complaints. Oh well, the Hilton elevators. That'd be about my only complaint.
I see. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I still haven't made it to Sweet George's Juke Joint. It's on my list, but again, so busy, and it's like I can't make that walk down there.
Was that the first year you've been in the parade?
I did it last year. This was the first year I dressed up.
Okay.
Yeah, last year they needed some extra people, so I wasn't even in cosplay. I just kind of walked with them. We're thinking about doing something a little bigger next year. We'll see how it goes. You know, everybody's always excited those first few weeks after Dragon Con, but then when you start planning, like, ooh, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it. So,
Now, did
yeah.
you have costumes all the days you were there?
I did not, and I'm kind of upset because of my job, I didn't get there until midnight on Thursday. So basically, I didn't get to start Dragon Con until Friday.
Sure.
One of my costumes was for the Bunny Hutch party, which obviously I missed. And another one of my costumes was for the Spider-Man photo shoot, which was happening at the same time as the being a blurred panel on the digital media track. And obviously I kind of had to be at that one. So yeah, I think I was in cosplay for the G.I. Joe photo shoot and for the parade. So out of five that I had planned, I got to wear two of them. So
Okay.
I'm still new to the actual cosplaying part, so I think that's pretty good.
Absolutely.
You're being asked a question in the chat, Channing. Did you make it to Sweet George's Juke Joint?
Oh yeah, I was talking about that earlier. I did not get to make it. I want to because I hear the food there is really good, and when they have a live band. But again, sometimes at Dragon Con, I don't stray from Dragon Con that far.
Yeah.
Just because I like, and Sweet George's Juke Joint isn't that far comparatively speaking, but I usually try to stay closer to the hotels, just because I like being a part of it in the middle of the action.
Sure. The British guest had a lot to say about peanut and butter and jelly sandwiches. Okay, well,
I'm gonna need some clarification on that one.
I think it was in the Paul Bettany panel. I think.
Oh, gotcha.
I seen you reading something about it.
Gotcha. Yeah, the people in the comments are having their own discussion, which is great. It's awesome. And building, that's how you build a community.
Correct.
And Jen, what about you? How was your overall experience this year?
Busy. Yeah, so we flew in bright and early Wednesday morning, the 6 a.m. flight. So I think I got into town about 8:45, and then we went, checked in. Checking in was easy. Then we took an Uber over to the OK Cafe, which is, I guess, typically Southern food, but it's not like Seoul Southern food. It's Southern food, like big, huge portions, chicken fried, everything, that kind of stuff. But everybody really likes it. And then we were able to do our annual Trader Vic's. Shout out to Jose, the manager at Trader Vic's, who I had talked to a few months ago after I realized I missed the window to make a reservation. He was very nice, and we didn't have to wait more than 5 minutes for a table. Oh my God, I've never been to Trader Vic's right when it opens on Wednesday. I got off the elevator and there was 150 people just all in the entranceway right before they opened. We were like, oh my God, this is never going to happen. Like, it can't be that all of these people has a reservation at the same time. And yeah, sure enough, they didn't. But when we got up to the front, and they're like, "Oh, you have a reservation?" And I was like, "No, but I talked to the manager, Jose, and he told me to come here right at opening." And they're like, "You talked to Jose? Jose?" And they call him over, and he's like, "What? Who did I talk to?" I'm like, "Yeah, I have this email." He's like, "Here, stand right here." And we have other friends who are waiting, and they also didn't have reservations. And he came back by, and he's like, "Okay, follow me." And I'm like, "Oh, but they were here first." He's like, "But they didn't email me." And then took us to the table. I was just like,
VIP.
Oh my God.
It goes right back to it.
There you go.
Yeah.
And he kept coming by and checking on us, which was really nice. I think it's the most attention we've ever gotten when we've eaten there. So that was really awesome to, be able to continue the tradition. And then we went and did all the pre-parties, met up with the over 40s at the Hilton lobby, and then went over to the Marriott where there's like eight party groups. So there's the welcome back home party, and then the we had our duo parties group, Cult of the Con DJ party, and the horror group was having their party. So it's just a lot of mingling, and there was dueling DJs, and then there was the impromptu karaoke party. And I think I didn't get back to the hotel till 1:45 in the morning. I laugh about that, but really every year for like the past 4 years, I stay out the latest on Wednesday night. I think it's because, which is crazy since I only get about 3 hours of sleep the night before, since we had to fly so early, and I'm excited because it's vacation, so I can't sleep. But I'm ready to hit the ground running.
It's the adrenaline rush.
Yeah. And then, Thursday stood in line for an hour or so to get my official Dragon Con merch. I went and got my media badge, met some other media folks in line and chatted. And throughout the con, I got to do four interviews. Shout out to Tillman and Kathy from the Dragon Con media team. They were very helpful. Tillman did a great job of updating on any changes. And I was good and actually showed up early for every appointment, so I didn't look like an idiot. But I got to talk to Eddie McClintock and Gray Delisle and Jason Marsters, who ended up bringing some other cast members with him from one of his movies. I'm going to follow strike rules and not talk about strike work. And then I also got to interview Sherilyn Kenyon, who is a very popular author in Georgia and writes the Dark Hunter series, as well as some other series. And I actually do read her books that I discovered at Dragon Con. So it was cool to get to chat with the person, whose books I read. So, and then, every night in the evening, I would go have a few drinks at Trader Vic's patio. Oh, Sven's kickoff party was great Thursday.
It was
on the patio.
Crazy. It spilled out to the street.
Yeah. Well, but you got to remember, you also have the con crawl that it connects with them.
Because I went by after I got my guest badge, and I was on my way to a panel anyway, so I couldn't stay long. But I was like, I'll just swing by and say hi to some folks. It was so packed and so crazy. I didn't see anybody there I knew. I was just like going, my goodness, it's insane here. And then I just made my way through the crowd and just was like, okay, that's amazing how big this thing is.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was Sven's party or another night, because I was at the Trader Vic's patio every night to start off the evening. Because I really there's one of the regular bartenders who's always at their satellite bar. And so I prefer to. They have the best bang for your buck. No drinks are cheap at
How
Con.
was Did you get to try Sven's drink?
It was a Mai Tai.
It was a Mai Tai, but was it an ordinary Mai Tai?
Yeah, you got a carpet umbrella. He had custom printed Hawaiian carpet umbrellas made for him.
Nice.
Look, that's worth it. That makes it worth it.
Yeah. But I like their Mai Tai, and especially the satellite bar Mai Tai, because the alcohol kind of sits. So if you get there at the right time, you're getting something good. But I ran into Crispy there, I can't remember if it was at Sin's party or another random night, but I typically do see a lot of people that are involved with con at Trader Vic's. So I think people are learning to go to the patio there. I think we made it to 80s either prom or party that later that evening at the Cortland, which is the first time I've ever been to one of the ballroom parties there. I've gone to the pool parties, and Black Sunshine was DJing. It's the first time I've seen him DJ. Great mix of music. I will probably go to that party every year now, because I was like, okay, there was a good ballroom. There was plenty of space. Once I got there, an hour after it started, there wasn't a line anymore to get into the room. And so that was, it was good. And Black Sunshine was very animated, and a lot of people knew him. So they'd come up and say hi, and you'd see the recognition on his face when he realized he knew the person. So that was cute. I can't remember if I made it to any other parties. Yeah, I did. I had a lot. I made it into almost every costume I brought this year. So there's that, which I think was, I made it. I either put on 5 or 6. I had 5 or 6 costume changes this year. And
nice.
I wore one costume 2 days. So, and I got to do 2 panels I've never done before. I went to the Riker Games for the Star Trek track. I have not laughed so hard at anything at con ever. This is now going to be something I do every year. Joe Campbell and the rest of the track people went on a great show, and I love Joe anyway. But he's such a ham. Even when he had lost his voice and he couldn't really talk, but just the faces and the responses he made to contestants and the judges was great. I filmed a good chunk of it, and somebody we knew was actually competing. But yeah, it was hysterical.
Nice. Okay.
And the other, and the other panel I made it to was the Tiki panel, which I find it funny because it was supposed to be horror and Tiki, and all of us in the crowd kept distracting y'all, so you didn't really get to talk that much about horror.
Yeah, we kind of did. We got pipe bombed in the beginning, so that was unfortunate. But
hey, everyone handled it with grace.
I think so.
But yes, it was a very serious way to start off. I was like, whoa, that is a heavy question to throw out in the first 30 seconds.
Yeah, from someone
who I'm going to need some context on this one, folks.
Who quickly darted off after wow. Like the first 15 minutes.
They left?
Yeah. I think she just came in to do that and then leave. I don't think she was really interested in really discussing it or yeah.
Somebody
but it
came in and asked right off the back in the first, as soon as Mike got done introducing the panelists, about appropriation in the Tiki community and how people deal with it or address it in their work
and colonization.
Yes, there is that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
As I said, I definitely wanted to talk about that. I was going to talk about that, but not to open the panel. It was like, yeah. So
no, the whole room kind of just went,
oh, yeah.
And yes, it is a factor. So we weren't, dismissive of it for sure.
No, but every panelist addressed it.
Yeah, absolutely, we did. And I think, like you said, so I'm glad you were there though, because that was good to see you the second time for the weekend, and I'm glad you enjoyed it. Now I understand also that you got to kick off Dragon Con. Right?
Well, somewhat. So I didn't realize that DCTV was up in the Pulse Lounge, but Drew had handed me the microphone. Was like, "You're doing the countdown." I was like, "What? What?" So it's like, I'm buzzed and I'm on my phone trying to find the timer. And I'm pretty sure I was screaming in the microphone doing the countdown because I didn't start counting until like 6. Because I was trying to mess with my phone to get to the timer. And I heard other people counting. But then I saw on social media later that DCTV was up there and the Pulse Lounge doing the countdown. And they're like, "Hey, we got to do the countdown." And I was like, "Hey, so did I." I I'm the person you can hear in the background screaming. So. But yeah, it was cool. I was very happy on Mai Tais that night. So. I think I probably had a zombie that night too. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, their zombies are really
I like
good
it.
too. Yep. I always get the Mai Tai and the zombie when I go to Trader Vic's. But I did not have time to go there to drink or to partake of any food or anything of any kind. Like I said, I just went through there just real briefly on Thursday, just to see if I could say hi to anybody. But I had my first panel was at 8. Well, yeah, it was about 8 or 8:30 on Thursday. So I started right off the bat. So, but overall, your experience was a great one.
Yeah, I mean, I was, besides Wednesday, I was back at my hotel room before midnight every night. I went to bed at a normal hour, which is really weird, until Monday for the after party. And then I was out till 2:30.
So what I'm hearing is before and after con, you go all out.
Yeah.
But during con, you're all business.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I had my average was 2 drinks per night, like official con nights.
I respect that.
Yeah. And it was typically just drinks at Trader Vic's. Yes, I had some pudding shots and some Jello shots. My friend Jason brought me some pie, which I sipped a bit on the main days, but really just saved for Monday night and drank it all then. And then drank other people's pie too. So, and I don't feel bad about it.
No, you shouldn't.
Because I did not show up to any interviews hungover, which, yay.
Yeah.
Or smelling like alcohol from the night before. I showered. Woo!
I think that's
showers.
We encourage people to shower at Dragon Con. We definitely encourage people to shower.
Well, and some of my I had to interview Eddie. I think at 10. It was 10 o'clock in the morning Friday.
Goodness gracious!
Which
I'm
means
surprised he was not hungry.
I left the Sheraton, I think at 9, just because I didn't know how crowded it was going to be. So then I, obviously got up early enough so I could be presentable to go be professional during an interview. So the rest of them were, at a much more appropriate, like noon and 3 o'clock and stuff. So.
Well, for me, it was a great show. It was a great con. Thursday, I arrived, set up my table. I met Sven for the first time. He was setting up as well. So I actually met him in person for the first time. I didn't get a chance to talk a lot because we were both setting up and getting situated. It did wear me out. So, but I did manage to. I was worried about that panel on Thursday. I did a total of 8 panels this year, which might have been. They were placed oddly. That's an okay number for me to do, but they were placed oddly. For example, I had a panel on Thursday night. I had no panels on Friday. I had 2 on Saturday, and both of them were outside of the comic track room. And I had 2 panels on Sunday. Those were both inside the comic track room. And then I had 3 panels on Monday, which was just too many because that meant I was only at my table for like the first hour from 10 to 11 and then the last hour from 4 to 5, which that was not very conducive since a lot of people I know were trying to come by and see me because there was no line on Monday. So that stunk. I always hate not being at my table. And unfortunately I didn't have a table mate this year. So there wasn't anybody to do the business for me. So my business wise, I didn't have any new books and that's on me. So I didn't expect to do bonkers as far as sales, but it was a little bit low, probably a little bit lower than last year, but that's all right. I did the panels I did were awesome. Starting with I did 4 comic panels, I think, and 3. That must have been 5 comic panels, and then 3 for the American Classic Sci-Fi track. And all of those were amazing. We did one on Saturday morning, appropriately enough, for the 50th anniversary of the Super Friends. And Channing talking about cartoons doing, like, serious stuff. I mean, Super Friends, I think, is known more for their promo, their PSAs, than their actual like stories.
Yes. Agreed wholeheartedly.
Especially that one where Robin is showing his skills at doing the Heimlich to Batman. That one is quite crazy.
They had good intentions with those things. But,
yeah. Well, Wonder Woman teaches you how the proper way to pet a dog, so that's nice. And Aquaman is telling girls in bikinis not to hitchhike. So it's it's really good information. Good information to have. When you're growing up, I mean, that's what I grew up with, right? So
I can't tell you how many times I put on a bikini and tried to hitchhike home from school.
Please don't.
Before I saw that episode. So yeah.
Okay, to be fair, I don't know. I mean, I grew up in the coastal area of Texas. It happened.
Oh, I'm sure.
Not me, but every day.
Oh, I'm sure.
So yeah, there's people doing it.
That's the thing about those PSAs. You know that they were done because at some point someone did something. It's sort of like, when
people did it that they had to bring it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like when you get the bottle of shampoo and you read the bag and it says "do not drink." You're like, well, that's because people did this. Like they have to put that on there so people don't do it, right? So
yes.
Pretty much the con for me was being at my table as much as possible, as well as going to the panels and going back and forth when needed. And I didn't really do much at night. One, because I was tired, and two, just because I think I still am gun shy about being around all those people. I should have been, I didn't mask up, which I'm grateful that I did not end up getting crud or COVID. I did get, the boosters and the flu shot before DragonCon. So I do think that helped a little bit, maybe fend some stuff off. But
maybe the booster doesn't have the variant that's going around.
Well,
right
true.
Yeah.
They're about to release that booster like in this week. I think.
Yeah. So I mean, who knows? But
I don't need a booster for 3 months now. So yay!
Yay!
I can't get the new booster for a while, just because I had the previous one. But anyway, so I would recommend, people do that because look, it doesn't stop you from getting it, but it just hopefully means that if you get it, it's going to be a little bit more manageable.
This was the first time I've had it. It's horrible. It was horrible. It was horrible.
Yeah, I haven't. I've never had it. So
I have a result. Like, I'm still sick. I have a respiratory infection now. It has nothing to do, with the COVID. Mm-hmm. It was just my immune system was weak, and I have sinus issues, so I'm prone to respiratory infections. But the COVID part, I have not experienced body pain that bad, like full body ache pain, since I had to have chest surgery over a decade ago.
Ugh, I don't want it.
Wow.
It was so bad. So yeah, if you could do something to not get COVID, oh my God. You do not want to experience it.
Yeah, I'm the 2-timer COVID club member, and I do not recommend it. It took me out for about two and a half good. I mean, I was sick for longer, but there were 2, maybe 3 days there where I was just done. Nothing was happening.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I didn't get a chance to walk around and do a lot of things that I've done before about, yes, absolutely, Brandon. Big shout out to, Jen and Channing. I was so worried after the reports that I got from them after con. I'm like, oh my god, we're still going to be able to do an episode.
Yeah, I have a fever.
Because that's all I was worried about, just recording an episode.
I have a fever right now, and I've been muting and coughing and sneezing the whole time. So
yeah,
I'm going to take NyQuil as soon as we're done with this.
Yeah, and
I have Texas Tiki Week this weekend. I need to be better in 3 days.
Well, we did have other things to go over, but yeah, I'm gonna like I said, we're gonna go easy on you, Jen. So we're not gonna cover some of the things that we were going to hopefully cover, but I did want to mention a couple of other things. We talked about how a lot of people came up to us from the Dragon Con report who listened and watched and everything, and that was cool. Luckily, I had ribbons on hand. I gave out all my ribbons.
I gave out
all the ribbons for Earth Station Who, as well as the ESO network that I had.
Same.
And
I gave out all the postcards.
Absolutely. So that's cool that if you were able to get one, great. We tried to make it so that the people who actually listened and everything got those. I think this year the ribbons has reached a point where people are just grabbing ribbons to grab ribbons. It's now
I don't walk around with them visible, so I hand them out in certain situations. So
people saw me with a handful of ribbons, they would try to stop me, but normally I gave them to people who were really interested or who handed me one. But their ribbon hoarding is becoming a thing now.
It really is. I gave
out over 400 of the party's ribbons.
I put them on the table, and then that was quickly. I realized a day after, a couple days, that was a mistake because people were just taking them, and just slapping them on just to see if they could get their ribbon count up. So there were some really cool ribbons, some really cool inventive ribbons. I did get one by Christian Herrera and Anderson Carmen that said Indie Comics Rule, and I was proud to sport that one, as well as I was representing the podcasts and all that on my badge and everything. Yeah, I got
Wait, did you put the party one on your badge?
I did. I think so.
Okay.
I'll be here. Yeah. So yeah, they should all be there.
I don't know. It's blue. I don't see it.
Don't know where that one went. I don't know. But anyway.
It has a Hydra on it.
Uh-oh.
Maybe I have it elsewhere, because I did not put every ribbon, because I had to stop at some point. So maybe I didn't put it on there. But in any case, guilty. So, I didn't get to see as many costumes and take pictures as much as I used to, or I've done in the past. I think I came out of the weekend with only maybe a dozen pictures of costumes and cosplay, which for me was really sad.
I think I took 185 photos and videos combined.
Goodness gracious. So
I'm a little over 100.
I can imagine. Well, Jenny, you were part of that huge group.
I forgot. I was part of the inaugural running of the Ropers at DragonCon, which was
nice. You were. Yeah. I did not know that was a thing.
Well, so my group, we did a small Ropers group a few years ago, but then Dee Coble found out about this is a thing in other states. It's popular for bar crawls, and she had posted that she was interested in doing it at DragonCon, and a lot of us were like, hell yeah, let's do it. And then it, snowballed where a ton of people were interested, and Tony Gower reached out and brought us up an intermission and during the masquerade. And even they were shocked at how many of us they were.
There were so many. I'd never seen so many Mrs. Ropers.
And then we paraded from the Hyatt over to the Hilton back patio and to take a big group photo. And the photographers were shocked at how many. I think we heard there was 171.
Goodness
as it was counted. So for a first year group outing, that's pretty big.
It's just going to grow from there.
Yeah, it's just going to grow. And it wasn't just Mrs. Ropers. We had Mr. Ropers. So we had Stanley's. There was people who did Regal Beagle employees.
Oh, wow.
And recreated the menus from the bar.
Damn.
Which was amazing.
That's hardcore. Three's Company cosplay.
There was a few Chrissy's and Janet's. So and it was just a fun group, and it was really funny walking through, and people would be like, "Oh my God, ropers!" And then, "Oh my God, they keep going to what are they dressed up as?"
Well, yeah, because I mean that's a deep cut for some people, right? Like that's that's not really something that I think is relevant. That just came out because
my friend
right?
Julia was the landlady from Kung Fu Hustle, and we pulled her in with us to do the ropers.
Oh, that was a good one.
I mean, obviously the most popular cosplay, without a doubt, was Barbie.
Yes.
Yeah, we co-opted Hi Barbie. So how they were all Hi Barbie. Sunday night we were all Hi Helen, Hi Helen, Hi Helen, Hi
Helen. Yeah, Hi Barbie, Hey Barbie, Hi Ken was like the most popular thing I think said in any group or by anybody at Dragon Con this year.
They had awesome meetups. I filmed one where a group of them were recreating the beach scene in the lobby of the Hyatt and playing the Push song. And
that's awesome.
Where all the Barbies were rotating and to each Ken, and
I may have been in there with you actually because I saw the same thing. Yeah, that was the first photo shoot. That was the first thing I did when I at Dragon Con on Friday, and it was massive.
Yeah,
I will have to say that as far as the whole Barbenheimer thing goes, Barbie was huge at Dragon. Not too many Oppenheimers. I actually saw one picture of somebody who dressed as Oppenheimer, but that was it. Like that.
I counted at least 10 Barbieheimers.
Oh, yeah, I was just about to say. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no mashups. Yeah, they have mashups.
Right. There's a lot of mashups.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And not just the shirt that Sven made to sell.
Right, and
although I did see that a lot.
Yeah, his stuff was everywhere. My favorite photo, I think, from the whole weekend was the Superman Phantom Zone villains trapped in a Barbie box. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that went. I think that went viral. I saw that everywhere.
Yeah, that was pretty. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Well, we'll let everybody know, like at the end when we're exiting, like where people can find you guys and where the content that you did, all that stuff that you did, the pictures and the interviews and everything, Jen, and all your pictures and where people can go to Channing. So the only other things that I really wanted to mention before we get out of here is one of the last panels that I did on Monday was in the American Classic Sci-Fi track room. And they usually do a panel. I guess for the last few years, they've done a panel, their last panel on Monday, and it's called Tales of Dragon Con. And this year they decided to tie that in because a lot of people from who are associated with the room or whatever come in and just talk about their weekend, talk about past Dragon Cons, et cetera, et cetera. And so this year, because of the book that I've been working on, they decided to tie that in. So a lot of the people contributed to the Dragon Tales book, which will be out by the end of this month. That a lot of people were there who contributed to that. We were able to pay tribute not just to the Tom, who's the book is in honor of, as well as Darren. So there's the cover of the book for those people who are watching. And Darren's presence was I missed him greatly this year. This is the first convention, the first event that I've been to without Darren, and the first Dragon Con. And like I said, he was really we paid tribute to him during that panel. During the Super Friends panel, I kept thinking about him as well. Other people did tributes to him throughout the weekend. I know at the Rainbow Party, they had a tribute to him as well. And so, I just obviously we can't let this go without this episode go without. I like to think that he was there in spirit, and probably the most touching moment of the entire weekend came to me at the very end of that Tales of Dragon Con panel, when the last person who spoke about their experience at Dragon Con was an elderly couple. I say elderly, they're probably my age. But they were in the front row, and this woman had told a story about how actually the truth that they had lost their son during Dragon Con weekend. Not that he was at Dragon Con, but a few years ago during that weekend, Labor Day weekend.
Oh no.
And the following year, they were trying to figure out a way to honor him, the anniversary of his death. So they decided to go to Dragon Con because he liked to go to Dragon Con. And they went to Dragon Con. They experienced Dragon Con for themselves. And when they saw the craziness that goes on that weekend, and on Monday, when they were getting ready to leave, the mother turned to her husband and said, like, so what do you think? And he's like, I can't wait to do it again next year. They were, and sweet. They've been coming ever since. The way people can discover Dragon Con, to me, like I said, is such an interesting thing, and that is such a moving story. It perfectly encapsulates, like, you know, as much as I miss Darren doing the show, being at Dragon Con, I mean, I feel him at Dragon Con. I feel his presence at Dragon Con. I feel it when we do this show. So it's been a rough year, and a credit to you guys for maintaining everything with the show as well. So we dedicate this whole season. I dedicated my Dragon Con experience, this whole season of the Dragon Con Report, to Darren. And of course, he will be in our thoughts going forward as we get ready to do our 2024 Dragon Con Report, which we will start in January. We will have the next few months off while we prepare. We're getting ready to close out the show. But before we close out this episode of the 2023 Dragon Con Report, I also want to read this comment that we got. We got this email from Blake Smith, who said, let me just say this. Thank you so much for the podcast and Facebook page. This will be my 5th year volunteering and attending Dragon Con, and this group's page, podcast, and Discord has lowered my anxiety so much this time around. The enthusiasm, inclusivity, and attention to detail has greatly improved my desire and love for this con. Over the years, I have really been left out in the dark about the activities that weren't quote-unquote Dragon Con official, which had completely limited my ability to attend events that I always saw but never got a chance to see, join, or contribute. I always either heard stories, the event was over, or I was that spectator saying, who are those people and what are they doing? Looks fun, though. The podcast and the interviews were the best informative sessions, and the organization of the list on and off the record events that you guys do, Jen, are great and helpful. Thank you guys. See you at the con. Keep up the great work. I need this. Happy con, and I give it 5 stars. So that means a lot to me, and hopefully we're going to keep that kind of thing going into the next year. We really,
I think I would be yelled at if I stopped the list.
You definitely would be.
While we were
like, hey, we need that list. Where's that information?
No, shockingly, while we were at con, we hit 7,000 members.
It's amazing.
Wow, yeah, that's good.
Our numbers skyrocketed as well. On Instagram, on Facebook, on everything that we were doing as well. I try to keep up with all, and on Instagram, I try to keep up, and on Facebook, try to keep up with all the announcements that people are making, both officially and unofficially, all the vendors, all the artists, where you can find them, what they've got, what they're, everything like that. Who's going to be performing at the burlesque show? Who's going to be at this party? Who's going to be at that party? It is insane how much stuff is happening, and it's hard to keep track of. We only get to a fraction of it. So we appreciate everybody who helps us out with our efforts, and going forward, we're going to try to do better, and see if we can cover even more of the con. So we definitely want people's ideas, suggestions, what we can do, what they want to see, who we should talk to. We had a great season this year. We got to talk to Rachel Reeves, who turns out now is one of the leading people in Dragon Con. Right. I mean, that it doesn't get any bigger than that. And
we had Sven on, and
we had Sven on too. I definitely want to make that a yearly thing. He's got to come back next year.
All the DJs who joined us.
All the DJs. Con. That was that was a great one. Yeah.
Absolutely, the DJs and everything else. So we definitely look forward to a new year, a new season, and like I said, it's going to be in January. So we really do appreciate it. So big shout out to everybody who's listening, everybody who came up to us, all those people who's watching us who came up to us at Dragon Con. We love you guys. Even if you didn't come up to us, we still love you. And
if you see us next year, don't be scared.
No, don't be shy. Don't be shy.
Yeah, we're normal people. I only charge $10 for photos. We're just regular people.
Careful, Channing. Somebody's going to take you seriously, and you're going to lose your badge.
Point.
So as we head out of here, big shout out to our station crew. Channing, thanks so much. This has been your first year with us, but man, it's been amazing having you join us here on the podcast.
Thank you. I've loved it. Thank you all for welcoming me into this little dysfunctional family. And I just got to say, both those stories you told, Mike, it backs up what I always tell people. Dragon Con is more than people in spandex. It's its own little family. It's its own little world. And the amount of care and love that people have for each other there is just amazing. You could go for just that and still have a great time. Absolutely.
Yeah. And let's do what we can to keep that Dragon Con feeling all year round, right?
Yes, indeed.
Even on the months where we're not recording. Right. Where can people find you, see all the pictures, see everything that you're doing? In the meantime, where can people go online to say howdy and get their Channing fix?
Your Channing fix. I need to see if I can get that. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Channing Sherman, just my first name and my last name. I've got a couple of small galleries on Google Photos, and I will have links to it on all of those channels. And also, don't forget to look for my group, Black Geeks of Dragon Con. We had a huge shoot this year, and we had a panel about our group. Was a lot of fun, and we'll be going year round. And as always, it is not a protest, it's a party.
Absolutely. And Jen, thank you. I know I said that we try to make it easy on you, and I'm sorry we've gone as long as we have tonight, but it's kind of hard to wrap this all up, right?
I had a few people from the comments who were actually, friends with me online who were messaging like, what do you keep doing when you duck off camera? It's like, I'm coughing my ass off and sneezing.
I'm trying not to die.
Yeah. And I'm muting so nobody hears it or sees it. But you can find me a few places online. On Instagram, I'm at LilBitOdd, and that might be my TikTok name. I don't know. I haven't signed in my TikTok in a while. I have no idea what that is. And I run the main host, runner, creator of the Dragon Con Parties, Meetups, and More group. We have a Facebook group and a Discord, active in there pretty much every day. I'm also a little bit odd on Discord. I'm in 8 different Dragon Con related Discords, so I'm pretty easy to find. All my coverage from Dragon Con this year should be up on the ESO Network website, hopefully by next week. I've been sleeping a lot, so I have not really been able to get up my coverage yet, but it will be up before the end of the month. And I'll have recaps for each day, as well as my interview coverage on there soon. And when that goes live, that will be posted all over the ESO Network main website at esonetwork.com, as well as links to it will be posted in the Facebook groups.
Awesome. Thank you for all of that. We really do appreciate it. I can be found on the Earth Station 1 podcast every week. So that's we do movie reviews, TV reviews of other, comics, books, everything, like discussions. We do all sorts of pop culture talk on that show. So you can find me there on video on YouTube, as well as the audio version is still available as well. So that's every week. You can also find me on Earth Station Who every other week, where we talk about Doctor Who. So that's always exciting and fun to do. Also, I've got a few books that are this close to being finished. So look for some notices about all of those coming up pretty soon as well. You can follow me on Instagram, as well as most everything else. My handle is always New Legend Mike. So look me up that way. And please feel free to reach out. Certainly reach out to us. and let us know, again, if you have any ideas for the show, any questions, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, we can't get out of here without thanking Director Faber for working his magic for behind the scenes all year long. We really do appreciate it. And we try to cover all we can with these episodes. But to keep up with the latest news, please check out the official DragonCon website, social media outlets, including Facebook, Instagram, Discord, et cetera. All the fan tracks are active on Facebook groups and social media as well. Hey, if you want to let DragonCon, that spirit continue, go on to the fan tracks groups and reach out to the fan tracks, because a lot of them are active all year round.
Especially the digital media track.
The digital media track is, the American Classic Sci-Fi track is, a lot of them are. So you can keep that spirit going. There's great communities there. They're very inclusive. So feel free to become a part of them. And we are a proud member of the ESO network. We have a TeePublic store filled with all kinds of cool stuff, including a very cool design for the DragonCon Report podcast, the t-shirt, which I'm wearing. Yay! Saw a few of those this week, DragonCon weekend. So I always love seeing that. There's a link for that in this episode's show notes and at the top of the ESO network page. We also have a Patreon. So thank you, patrons, for all your support. We really do appreciate it. Whether you're watching or listening to us, please help support our show with a like and a share. Like and subscribe. Again, we are not in the DragonCon app. So there's still time for you to vote on official things that happened at the DragonCon. So I think you have till October 1st, is that correct? Yeah, so you have till the end of the month. You can still give panels 5 stars. You can still give all events, and you can still put comments on there on what you want to see and what you don't want to see, et cetera, et cetera. So
panels, photo shoots, and parties.
Absolutely.
Be constructive. Don't just say you don't like something. Tell them why you don't like it, or tell them why you do like something. So, and if you use the Fast Pass this year, please add that as part of your review.
Yes,
to whatever panel you or workshop you used it for, so that they know that people liked it.
Yep. And direct feedback and comments for us, please feel free to email us at feedback@dragonconreport.com or reach out to us. Now, we will probably be a little asleep for the next 3 months. So while we prep up for next year. So if we're not if we don't get to you right away, please don't be insulted. But we are going to take things a little easier while we try to figure out how we can bring you the show next year and what things we can change and how we can make it better for you. So I thank everyone for joining us this year. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's been an absolute blast. I'm your host, Mike Gordon, and take care, stay safe, and we look forward to seeing you all at the con in 2024.
Yes, indeed.
Bye.
Later, folks.
You're listening to the ESO Network, your station for all things geek.